What is up, guys? Tonight I am streaming uncharacteristically late because I finally put together the topics that I've been meaning to discuss that I keep postponing because something else gets my attention. So I said, why not now in the piece of night time before tomorrow, which is supposed to be a big day in the nation? But, anyways, let's just get it started with. So in case you wonder what the cluster in my video title is supposed to be, this is a compilation of many topics that got my attention throughout the week, and I am going to just share my opinion, which is what this channel is about. So the first thing was a few days ago, I was on the wonderful land of Twitter, which is where I pretty much get all of my news from so that I can get people's immediate thoughts and comments and have a laugh here and there. There was an article entitled Expensive Designer Coats Ban at Merseyside School. By the way, this is a school in the United Kingdom, and I cannot pronounce UK towns, cities, and all that good stuff to save my life. So, for any of my UK friends out there, if I butcher any of those names, just be gentle with me. Because trust me, I have tried, but I never get it right. So, this is apparently from a high school called Woodchurch. And some of the brands that were brought up to the attention of this matter, or the names of the brands that came up, were Montclair, Paranix, and Canada Goose. And the issue with these coats is that they tend to range between 400 English pounds and 1,000 English pounds. And for those of you who are like me and you do not know anything about British currency, that converts roughly to $511.24 and $1,278.10. So why is this a big deal? Well, some people were saying that by banning these coats, that is a way of poverty proofing the school environment. And what that means is that apparently kids get bullied for not wearing fancy coats. So kids who wear fancy clothes apparently bully those who do not wear fancy clothes. Now, remember that this is happening in the United Kingdom and I'm from the United States, so for starters, I thought that the UK was like, it made it mandatory that you needed to wear uniforms. So, how do kids even have a chance to bully other people? And then I thought about it and I'm like, well, Zam, students need to come from somewhere. They don't live in school. So it could be on their way to classes, on their way to school, or when their parents pick them up or something. Somehow these kids get a coat. But then I told myself, well, isn't the whole point of a uniform to have all of these things sorted out for you? And then when I thought about it, I looked into it a little deeper, and it turns out that Japan seems to be the one place that I could find that includes coats as part of the uniform. Because when you think about it, Japan, we don't seem to hear about stuff like this coming from that country. In fact, I never hear anything from Japan. So I don't know if it's because the news to me that reach me are tailored in a certain way to where I would not get much information from such country, but at the same time I'm like, no, because I get international news, so I don't see how that is a factor. But but anyways, apparently when kids wear these fancy coats, that puts pressure on the students and also in their families. And then my personal opinion on this is when I was in school, again, the United States, I can see why people say that you feel pressured to have nice things because nobody ever in my time in school, in high school, or whatever, nobody ever said, Zam, you're a loser. You don't wear a, what are fancy brands? North Face jacket, which I happen to own one, but I never really wore it to school except in my junior or senior year. You don't have Nike athletic clothing, stuff like that. It's just weird to me because, on the note of being bullied, I don't know if it's because I limited my social activity so much. I was a very isolated kid. I did not put myself out there enough in social situations to perhaps experience this. But even if I would have been picked on about that, guess what? That would not have affected me for one very simple, basic reason. And that's because at my house, I was taught that the most important thing is that I am fed, have clothes, and have a roof over my head. So, what I am trying to say by that is that it doesn't matter what I wear as long as I am covered up and it does not impede my mobility, it does not make me uncomfortable, and it is not vulgar. So, because those were my priorities, I valued the fact that whatever it was that my mother could afford for me, I was mentally prepared and grateful and just happy that I had clothes that never let me down. Period. I could count on being warm standing outside at the bus stop on 25-degree Fahrenheit weather. And I had no issues whatsoever. Not a day in my life did I think, oh man, I would be resisting this cold a whole lot better if I had a North Face jacket. Never. All I would do is, okay, I have a collection of cheap clothes. How can I insulate myself properly with the resources that I have? And that's what I would do. I would wear 4, 5 layers, however many necessary. And as resources became available, I could consider upgrading my closet. But that was not my priority. My priority was to make wonders with whatever it was that I could get my hands on. And then I learned about ways to get stuff at bargain prices. And therefore, my closet began to evolve. But if I were near this school or something, I don't think that the issue here is that you need to ban a certain item so that other kids do not get bullied, because you know what's going to happen? What's going to happen is people are going to find something to bully these kids with. That's different. It used to be fancy coats. Now it's going to be your hair color, your hairstyle. It could be, I don't know. What do kids get bullied for? I mean, it could be that you're chubby. It could be that you're the slow one in the classroom, as in they make you run a mile and you're always the last one. You know, like your lung capacity is very limited. They are going to pick on you one way or another. This is nothing. So I think that a more effective way at handling this would be, okay, these are high school age children, right? Which I think it's starting to be a little late to rectify these people, but I think you need to teach kids to not allow for external pressures to influence them. It is your responsibility to be mentally capable, mentally strong, to interpret information and also process what goes on in your surroundings without succumbing to negative opinions that your brain generates. You may be thinking that you are worth less than your rich friends just because they have more money. You should never have to feel that way. As long as your basic needs are fulfilled, I think That is what everybody should focus on. And I think that's what you should teach young people. Do not value materialistic aspects of life. Value the fact that you are fulfilled in your basic needs. The rest that makes you feel happy, entertains you, whatever it is that you enjoy in life, that comes afterward. You will not be able to indulge those things unless you are in good health. So, of course, I may be missing something. There may be more to it than this, but my immediate impression is that. And most of the comments that I saw on the Twitter, Twitter trend were people saying that the ban is absolutely ridiculous, and I have to agree because I feel like we keep trying to create safe spaces that simply it's not possible to protect everyone against every single possible medium of being bullied. It comes with being a human in a social situation. Crap will happen in life. You have to be able to handle it as opposed to expecting figures in positions of authority to do something about it. I think you have to be able to just move on with your life. And I'm not saying tolerate abuse if it gets out of control. I'm just saying that this stuff is not important. This stuff is petty. So I do not see how this will make the situation any better. So let me catch up with some comments since I'm pretty much done. Uh, hey, Mr. Zombie. They usually wear regular clothes in public schools. Google bullying in Japan. I wore uniforms up until high school, loved every minute of it. You know, some people actually like uniforms, and for me personally, during my elementary school years, I actually wore uniforms, and I enjoyed the fact that occasionally there were specific days in which maybe to do fundraisers you could wear regular clothes and you paid $1 and you could not wear the uniform on special occasions. But wearing a uniform for me as a kid, it was annoying because I thought it was ugly, first of all. I absolutely despise, detest, hate, cannot stand skirts, and my uniform was something like that. So I'm like, no, 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 no. I could not stand it. And because I loved to be physically active, there were times in which playing kickball, I would slide on the floor and scrape the hell out of my legs. And I thought, good God, I know that jeans would not protect me entirely, but at least the scrapes would be much more minimized. So that was one of the lame aspects of it because I also had the pressure of, say, mom telling me, remember that you're wearing a skirt, so do not sit with your legs wide open, watch for the wind, and stuff like that. So I felt like if I have the pressure of, I am wearing something that adds to me pressures that I shouldn't be dealing with, it could be a distraction to my concentration and it could hinder me doing my schoolwork. And there were certain classrooms that were incredibly cold. So guys would wear their little polo shirts with their little long pants. And of course, if you go into a cold setting, you're going to be fine. But me as a girl, all I could do was wear a jacket, but my legs would still be exposed, and wearing a blanket wasn't exactly practical. But at the same time, I find it that if I'm too cold, I cannot concentrate. because all I'm thinking about is, oh my God, my hands are cold. It hurts to write. My feet are cold. I feel the socks being damp and stuff like that. So those are the aspects of wearing a uniform that I was not particularly fond of. But I always wish that if I am feeling some type of way, I can just wear something that's comfortable and just not worry about it, you know? But the good thing about the uniform was the fact that I did not have to overthink what was appropriate to wear, what I should wear, what to match. Because as a kid, let me tell you, I could not match clothes at all. So I feel like having uniforms freed me from that responsibility, but at the same time, I was not putting into practice a good, appropriate dress code, as in, I did not learn how to match clothes properly to not look buffoony until I was, my middle school years. So I put myself on the spot many times, and I could have possibly been the subject of ridicule, which I was from time to time. But I guess I guess uniforms help you also to minimize your laundry because, I mean, I never ran out of clothes with a uniform, and that let my normal clothes not be ruined by school activities. But again, once I was able to wear whatever the hell I wanted, I felt like my school performance was somewhat better because I was comfortable. Whereas wearing a uniform is kind of whack, but anyways, that's just me. I know those reasons are not very like strong or anything, but seriously, for me, I always wanted to get rid of the uniform. It felt like it limited me in ways that I struggle to put into words, but but I just remember as a kid telling my mom, why do I have to wear that? I hate that. And she's like, well, it's the rule. If you don't wear your uniform, you have to go home. And I'm like, how is me how is what I wear relevant to my education? You know, like you're going as far as sending me home. But when I think about it, it's all about disciplining you into following instructions, which is you are being forced to do something that you don't like. Get used to it. Suck it up. But it's reaching. It's exaggerated. And when you think about it, there are some people who literally cannot afford school uniforms. So every year you have to wear a different color, a different design based on your grade. So it gets pretty whack. You only wear this uniform for a year and you have to recycle it or throw it out or do something with it. It goes to waste, and I think that is irritating. That's just not how what my concept of life is like. That's ideal. The adults are worse than the kids, and they are supposed to be teaching the children. Protecting everyone from everything will make them weak and easily bullied and manipulated. I totally agree with that. Totally. $1 dress down, the best too. And see, what was fun about that is that uh when you finally got to wear your regular clothes to school, for me it was, I probably wore Dragon Ball Z stuff, so people would go like, oh, you like Dragon Ball Z, oh my god, this and that, oh my god, you like Pokemon, I like Pokemon too, what's your favorite Pokemon? Or you see people looking so different because they're not wearing a uniform, and that was shocking. You can wear hats, and some people look dramatically different with hats on. So it's like you're meeting people for the first time. It's a new experience, and I guess you value the fact that you can finally wear something different to school, so maybe that made it exciting. But but I just personally hated the uniform. Hated it. But maybe I have seen a couple of UK-ish uniforms, and to me they look nice. Like, I saw that one story of that one guy who's from Africa or something, and he was in Ireland. He's been there since he was very small, and they were trying to deport him and his family, and they moved to Ireland because his father died or something. And then the kids were able to convince whomever it was to let the guys stay in the country. And that's when I looked at their uniforms and I'm like, okay, that's cool. They're wearing pants with like a sweater looking thing and then some kind of collar top beneath that. And I could live with that. It looks nice. But the bullshit that I had to wear, it was just, ugh. I bullied myself, put it that way. But anyways, you guys, that's that on that uniform topic. The other thing I wanted to discuss was the justification of poor attitudes. And before I get into that, let me read the rest of the comments. Imagine if you had leggings back then. Just be in school. That is all I would want to do. Just be in school. I love school. Hello, Zam. Stay warm. Wear the uniform. Stay warm. Wear the uniform. You know, that's interesting. That's interesting. Okay, so justification of poor attitudes. What do I mean by that? I think that I mentioned this randomly when I stream, but let me finally officially zoom into it. And that is, have you guys ever been, especially in a work setting or just a social setting, period, in which you have to be a member of a group, and for some reason, there is someone who cannot cooperate with what the group is doing for whatever reason. Let it be they are sick, they are in pain, they have life challenges that eat up their thoughts, or they just had an argument with a loved one, with their sweetie pies, with their husbands or wives, whatever it is, or they have a very difficult financial situation. Well, what can I say? Life gets tough. I get it. And when life gets tough, it's difficult to focus on what you have at hand. And I'm not going to sit here and present myself like I'm someone who's indestructible. I have had my moments when I have wanted to fall apart and I was away from home and I could have embarrassed myself. And I can think of two times when I had my little breakdowns and I was like, I need some help. I need some support. Let me talk about it. And all I would do is talk about it and I would get better. And, but I never ever use that as an excuse to treat someone poorly. Never, ever, ever, ever. And the reason I did not allow that is because I told myself, okay, I showed up to say my shift. I am responsible for the fact that I am here. I am here because, of course, the schedule committed me to this. I decided to show up. By me showing up, I am saying that my team can count on me to execute the functions that I am here to carry out that are expected of me. So I find that these days, more and more, we keep focusing on the human factor, which is a good thing. But I feel like it is getting a little out of control because we are tolerating things that I think we should not tolerate. And a part of that is that you tend to justify people for not being their best when their very best is the whole reason why they are a part of the team that they are a part of. So I'm just saying, I want for people to be responsible. If life gets too difficult for you, I guess look for the help that you need, reach out, but please don't go somewhere where you're needed and be like, I have a very poor attitude because I'm stressed out from home, or let alone bottle it up. And then when disaster strikes, that's when you decide to speak up. And then you're like, yeah, I messed up because my mind isn't in there because I'm in a lot of pain, or my life is very difficult outside of here. And see, I don't want to just be blunt, like I'm careless, but nobody cares. And the reason I say nobody cares is because you cannot show up to a place where you're expected to be productive and let that get in the way. All right. Remember, I am in no way a company person. I am not really in favor very often of that type of culture. But what I am trying to say is that this affects you in every aspect of your life. If it's not at your job, it is at your school. You have a group project, and for some reason, you are being that person who is not cooperating. And because of you, that team experiences unnecessary difficulties. So, as opposed to just constantly justifying why you cannot be your very best, how about if you just do not commit yourself to anything until you can focus on what it is that you need to do? Of course, I'm not saying until you are free of problems, never work or never be a part of the group. I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying that if you are not going to be able to be productive wherever it is that you go, do us a favor. And if you are not going to be able to contribute, do not be able to make others feel down because you are experiencing your challenges and you are being miserable. So I just wanted to put that out there. That's my perception on that. I have my difficulties. Like, I personally have been having a rough time for quite some time, but nobody would know about it unless I express it. And tonight I did that. I did just that. I revealed to someone that I have actually been feeling not very happy with some stuff going on in my life, and they were kind of shocked about it. And I'm like, you shouldn't be shocked because everyone has challenges, but look at you. You did not even know that that was happening to me until I brought it up. And that's because I don't let that get in my way. I do not let that become an excuse for me to behave differently or just have a very bad tone, a very bad attitude. Whatever attitude changes, people suffer whenever life gets difficult for them. It varies from human to human. But you see what I mean? Nobody can say, you know what, since Zam has been, on the miserable side of the scale, yeah, I cannot stand being around her and whatnot. Nobody suspected a damn thing. And that is why, because I live feeling that way, which is I gotta be responsible. I am showing up to this place. I have to fulfill my commitment. So I'm just saying, guys, practice some of that. I'm not saying that you guys in here are like that, but if you are, this is just my opinion on what some people may be thinking about you, but they're too afraid to tell you. Don't be that person. Try to own it, become stronger, become better, become greater than your problems, as opposed to letting your problems just eat away at your brain and just ruining your life, okay? Because you are probably making someone's day more challenging than it needs to be, and they just don't have the guts to tell you. Just don't be that person. Don't be that person. And in some financial news, did you guys hear that David's Bridal filed for bankruptcy, some kind of protection against some kind of loss or whatever it is that bankruptcy filing does? um, and I couldn't help but wonder, since that is another business that is dying, of course, I would imagine that they are being defeated because of competition. Like their sales may be dwindling because people are ordering their stuff online And whatever it is that people do these days, buy recycled clothing, go to thrift stores or go online. There are apps and websites that you can visit and buy clothes from other people directly, all that good stuff. So I had two particular thoughts. One of them was, does it mean that fewer people are getting married and as a result the business of wedding dresses is suffering? Or is it that fewer people are wearing dresses to get married? Because if you guys were around for my ideal wedding stream, I made it very clear that I will be that girl who does not obsess about wearing a wedding dress because there ain't gonna be no wedding dress. It is going to be a leggings ceremony. But nah, seriously. What do you guys think on that one? Do you think that it is the result of fewer people getting married, or fewer people are wearing dresses to get married? Or actually, I thought of a third possibility, which is people are no longer buying new dresses, new clothes, or going to, what can I say, fancy places, professional places for you to place an order for your dress, have it designed and whatnot. You know? So I'm not sure what to think on that one, but I want to say it's a combination of all of those, but I like to be able to narrow it down to just one leading cause. But in my case, it'll definitely be a wedding dress company is not going to see a dime from me because I don't value that. I just need for people to be wearing clothes, be comfortable. You're going to have a good time. This is going to be brief and it's going to be a very intimate ceremony anyway. Like, I do not envision more than 4 or 5 people whenever I get married. So why would I go through the trouble of that? See what I mean? But anyways, let's see. Life is a while, then you get beached. And Red Mike O is here. Oh, on the note of that, I feel like this whole time I've been calling you Miko or something, and I would imagine that it's actually Mike O. I was oblivious to your capital letter. I just thought I would throw that out there. For me, it doesn't matter as long as she's wearing leggings. I like those. Well, great. That is good to hear. Let them know that wherever I am at, whatever party I am hosting, leggings are welcome. And bonus points if you actually bring me a pair for me to keep and add to my collection, which is already growing taller than I can actually reach in my closet. With more on the way, because trust me, I am going to give myself some Christmas leggings. I've been a good girl, I've been working hard, so I think like $20 or something that I can set aside to maybe buy 2 or 3 pairs, whatever that can get me. And then finally, you guys, if you guys were aware or follow the calendar or look at trends, on November 19, we had International Men's Day. And I visited the hashtag in that wonderful world of Twitter. And I saw some interesting posts, and I could not help but notice what was imminent, which was some people in the community decided to try to make it about them a, what can I say? I don't want to call it a holiday because it's not a holiday, but a holiday in which we are trying to focus on men and see what it is that we can help with or improve in this and that. It had to be turned into a feminist situation about how the men can make girls' lives better. But we're not going to talk about that. I am going to talk about something that stood out to me particularly, and it was from a user by the name of Let Toys Be Toys. And they had a thread about things like the color pink being very dominant, and how if a little boy, when they're young, are displaying like a gravitation toward the color pink, that you should leave them alone and whatever. But one thing that stood out to me was when they said that when a guy has derogatory terms used against them, some of these involve being told that you run like a girl, you throw like a girl, you scream like a girl, which those things tend to be synonym of being weak. And then I'm thinking to myself, you know what? Is it wrong to say that women are weak? And then I said to myself, well, it depends on the context. Because let's say that I, as a 135-pound woman, am put against a 135-pound man. I believe that that man is going to still have the advantage over me, just because 135 pounds in a male is just not the same as in a woman, because that guy still has the capacity to destroy me very unfairly because of the simple fact that he's just bigger by nature. Now, it could be a 135 male shorter than me, but the way that men are built physically is just significantly different from a female. So I would not try to challenge a guy of any size, period. So, as opposed to just feeling sensitive about those expressions, I would be like, I don't see a problem with it. I think that the reason those expressions exist is because there are expectations of men, and it is due to the things that biology presents as a given. Men tend to be bigger, men tend to be stronger, tend to be faster. So when I would hear as a younger person a guy being told you scream like a girl, you run like a girl, we all heard those at some point. Like, we heard a guy who was getting told that, and the guy got understandably defensive because, hello, that's, you know, it doesn't matter how old you are, but you are starting to have a sense of what it is to be masculine and all that. So statements like that would be pretty emasculating. But for me personally, to hear that those statements are used to call a guy weak, and I am a member of the so called gender that is supposed to be weak, or the sex that's supposed to be weak, I'm not offended, because those expressions exist because they were based off an observation that is a pretty good given. I'm not saying there is no such thing as a female who's stronger than a man, because, hello, it is possible for a guy to be old to where their strength is just not there anymore. And then, of course, me as a younger person, this has happened, that a guy is like, make sure that you don't pack my groceries too heavy. And I get it. I can see the person. They physically are not in the greatest shape. But if I were trying to compare myself with a healthy guy, definitely I will be at a disadvantage. So I don't know why they felt compelled to mention that or bring that up. Maybe I'm just tone deaf to the situation. I am not offended. I don't have a trigger button that you can push and I can suddenly be like, oh my God, and it's just terrible. And yeah, you're a terrible person. You're what's wrong with society. You need to burn, blah, 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 blah. Whatever terms people use to flame each other. But again, I'm not offended that one way to really insult a guy is by comparing them to a girl. I'm not offended at all. If someone were to say, so and so, you run like Zamri, I would be like, ha, that's gotta be hilarious. Will you show me how it is that you run like me? Because I feel like I run very, very hilariously. Like, I need to make a Zam running video because I think that I have a weird way of running. Because running is not my forte. And when it comes to throwing stuff, definitely I am awkward at throwing things. So, oh my god, you throw that football just like Zam. That is a way of saying that you lack skill. Because I have never in my life been able to successfully throw a football farther than, I don't know, like a few yards. And it's not that many. So I would not be offended by you replace all of that with Zam. Like, you run like Zam, you throw like Zam, you scream like Zam. I'm not offended because I know that I can have my moments in which I can have my high pitched voice. So if a guy suddenly reveals that, what is why is that such a big deal? There are guys who have a pretty extensive vocal range. So screaming like a girl, I know could also mean that you're being weak, but but men are not indestructible. Men are still mortals. Some of them will scream at some shit, and that's okay. Because that's the reason as a human you have emotions, you have the fear factor. And your fear factor, some people may react to fear by shaking, some people may completely be paralyzed, just shocked. Some people may be able to just scream at the top of their lungs and not lose their voice. And some people may be able to keep nerves of steel and get themselves out of danger. See what I mean? So I guess screaming like a girl is supposed to be derogatory because men are supposed to be strong all the time. And that is something that this person included in the thread, which is boys are never encouraged to talk about their emotions and they don't understand their anger, and that's why we end up with so many men being physically aggressive and whatnot. Okay, I guess I can sort of see that and understand that, but as someone who has never been discouraged from speaking up, I guess the privilege that comes with being a woman, then I cannot understand that to the full extent, and I'm sorry if I should be able to, but it is difficult to be able to grasp something that you don't really relate to. So at least I try to be informed. But for me to say, ugh, I know the male struggle, I would be full of shit. I would be lying to you. I don't want to be that person. So I'll be the first to admit that I do not know what it's like to have tape over your mouth when it comes to emotions. It is understood and accepted that I am an emotional creature just because of my, composition, but I'm not offended. I don't feel any type of way about being compared to a girl and then that being sig- significant, significative. What am I trying to say? Meaning of weakness. We understand that women are strong in certain aspects, but this is trying to limit it to a physical comparison. And it is pretty much universally accepted that men have an edge, an advantage over women in that department. Why is that such a big deal? See what I mean? But I guess that for girls, it is probably sending the message of you will never be as good as a man, and it is possible for you to train to become competitive. It'll be difficult and the road will feel unfair because of the way you are biologically designed, But no one is actively saying to girls, you can never be a good athlete. You can never be a good carpenter. You can never be a good lumber person, you know. You are getting in your own way. If those comments trigger you, I think you are getting in your own way and you are the one who needs to like redefine some things about your life. It's not society, it's not society's fault, it's the way you are reacting to your surroundings. That is something that is individualistic of you. So, like I said, maybe I'm just tone deaf, maybe I'm just not good at this, but I, as a woman, do not feel offended at all. But maybe as a man, it is a big deal because those statements would be emasculating for you. But for me personally, to say that it is offensive to tell a guy that they compare them to girls, I can see why that would be bad for the guy, but for me as a girl, I understand that usually I am weaker than the guy. So I'm not going to argue and be like, no, 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 no. I'm as strong as that guy. You know, I can still do all the amazing things that guys can naturally just do with very little training that I struggle with and have to put extra effort to be able to achieve. See what I mean? But, anyways, guys, I'm rambling. I pretty much put my point out there, made my point across, but you guys can look into it on your own time or something, or give me some feedback about how that made you feel or how that triggered you, and maybe express your disappointment at my lack of understanding. But, but seriously, I just like to invest my energy and time on stuff that actually, might help me move forward. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. Even as a man, I wouldn't even try to take your biscuits from you. I might get body slammed. No, 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 no mess with Zam's biscuits. By the way, yesterday I had an English muffin with the egg white grill, and this morning I had the Chick-fil-A chicken biscuit because your girl might have slipped in a little bit, and therefore I did not have time to fix my own breakfast. So I had to go out and eat more chicken, and it was good. That mug was juicy and it was crispy on the outside, and the inside was tender, and it was warm, and the biscuit was fluffy, and great way to start my morning. Just so you know, Red Michael wants me to scream. Maybe I need to do a scream video. By the way, all headphone users beware whenever that video comes out. If it comes out, I probably just cannot. If he poops in pants in fear, should she leave him? That depends on what the girl values. If the girl is looking for a Superman, then I would imagine that turns her off. But just remember that a guy is entitled to feeling fear and not being able to handle some things. I would not expect for a man to expose himself to peril just for my sake. How about if we both save ourselves, you know? You don't have to prove a damn thing. I'm just saying. I think that's where the toxicity comes from. That you think that you have to be this action movie superhero constantly, and you forget that those things are actually scripted, whereas real life isn't. Never put your life at risk just to try to seem more tough or something. I think that's stupid. I think the better representation of toughness is the fact that you make wise decisions that keep you and your loved ones safe, and a guy doesn't have to die. Put it that way. Oh boy, I was dry. Let's see. Is anyone else here because they heard that there was going to be a wedding dress half off? Ah, I am here for the beautiful creature that is Zam. Oh, what a man. Oh, what a guy. You know, I guess finds motivational is his business. The winter nights must just fly. You know what? When it comes to winter nights, I always think about cities that are very, very, very like way up there, up north. Oh, yeah. Today, there's like some Alaskan town that's supposed to be the northernmost place in the United States that they won't see the sun rise until January 22nd. I don't think I could do that. I don't think I could do that. As much as I love the night, I need some sun. But as an adult, I find myself enjoying daytime hours a little more than nights. Nights are great for my creative side, but for my productive side, daytime is definitely the way to go. It used to be that I could be creative and productive at nighttime, but now it's no, no, no. I can only be creative at nighttime and actually productive, as in do something with my creativity, generate something with my creativity from the night before. I can only do it on the following day. But my superpowers as a young person who could get away with not eating breakfast and not sleeping, them days are behind me. so so yeah, you guys, I guess I am going to wrap this up here because believe it or not, your girl has to work tomorrow. But because it is a bank holiday, we tend to receive some kind of a compensation for that. So I do not have necessarily a very long shift. Um, and I do have some kind of Thanksgiving plans, but I must confess that physically I have not been feeling so well. So I put a big asterisk by those plans and I said it is possible that my appearance will be brief, or it is possible that I will shine because of my absence. But it is also possible that I will be there and be the life of the feast. But at the same time, I would love to be here a little early just in case some of you guys just don't have anybody in your lives to do anything with or just hang out or chill or something. But I definitely intend on discussing Thanksgiving, but I would like to discuss it in a more political manner because I feel like there's some stuff that needs to be talked about that doesn't get talked about because it's something that, for instance, it doesn't really get discussed in school, and if it does, it's a very, very, very watered down version. So I'm interested to bring that up and see what you guys have to say about it. And also just food for my brain because there's a lot that I learn every time I sit here and just ramble away. So yeah, I will try to be here. Cannot guarantee it, but if I am not here during the day, maybe during the night, I'll just show up briefly. But anyways, I'll let you guys know what happens tomorrow. Let's see, what are y'all saying? Happy holiday, blessings, likewise, sweet dreams and sleep tight, sweet angel. Oh my God, you're so nice to me. Good night, love, sleep well. Oh, my another person so sweet to me. You guys are so nice to me. You have no idea how warm and cozy and better that makes me feel. Happy Thanksgiving, happy Thanksgiving. Wish I could bring you a plate. You know, something that I want to bring up tomorrow if I get to stream is the traditional aspect of it. Like everyone kept buying the same thing. Can we ever challenge that? Instead of having the turkey on November, how about if we have it in MF September or something like that? Or that's not much different, but just challenge those values, challenge that tradition, be different. I know I was talking to Jordan the other night in here, talking about how he has had, I think, a pizza or burgers. And I said, you know what? I did celebrate Thanksgiving with a burger one time. And definitely we've had pizza during Thanksgiving as well. So, did I say birthday? I feel like I said birthday. But, anyways, celebrated Thanksgiving with completely unrelated foods. And it's because, hello, if you don't have, really the fun of it is to get together with your family and friends. But if that's not something that you really have in your life, then why would you go out of your way to keep up with the tradition? How does the tradition benefit you? So, anyways, we're going to save that for when that discussion becomes official. But I would love for that topic to be discussed tomorrow just because the date is relevant. Whereas if I do it on Friday, it's like Black Friday when everyone is stuffed and you're still getting up at like 4 a.m. to line up at a place to get a deal on stuff. We'll see. We'll see. Do you accept Christmas gifts? I guess you mean accept. Um, when it comes to Christmas gifts, it's been a minute since I participated in that. It's been about 2 years. But yeah, Christmas gifts are good. Gifts are good, period. It doesn't even have to be Christmas. Um they could be random. I think I enjoy better receiving gifts randomly when I'm not expecting it than it's Christmas time. So let me see what you got for me, honey. You forgot about me? How dare you forget about me? So I mean, that's what I'm saying. Same thing with Christmas. Why are we compelled and feel the obligation to participate in that? You get a gift for someone when you feel like that, when you feel like it, and if you can. And the calendar should not limit you at all. See what I mean? So my mom sometimes randomly just gets me stuff, and I'm like, "What's this? What's this about?" And she's like, "I saw it, and I thought you might like it." And I'm like, "Oh, sweet." And sometimes I do the same thing for her. Like, look, mom, I know you mentioned that you liked my fluffy, cozy, fuzzy jacket. So here, I got you one. You know? So, but overall, I never turn away a gift. A gift for me is someone was thinking about me and they want to share with me. So, hell yeah, give it to me. But, but yeah, the only way I would turn down a gift is if it's of an inappropriate nature. Let's say if you are a guy and you know that I'm taken and you're trying to give me 700 flowers, I don't feel comfortable accepting that. Or if you try to give me a very romantically oriented card for my birthday or something, I may be like, thank you for the gesture, but you know, stuff like that. But overall, no, gifts are nice. I mean, someone is thinking about me, period. So I hope that that answers your question. Turkey burgers on Thanksgiving. Yum. You know what? I never thought that. Maybe it's time I did that. You know what I did 3 years ago? Ground turkey with corn chips. Deliciousness. Uh, Matthew Perez says, "Hi there," and I say, "Hello there." There for a challenge. You know, I do not because unfortunately I have to bail. I'm about to hit the 1 hour mark. So yeah, you guys, once again, thank you so much for tuning in and for hanging out with me. I feel so much better already. It's been an overwhelming couple of weeks because of the retail life that I be living, but it's going to get better. It's just a period. So physically, I'm just absolutely exterminated. But anyways, it'll be all right. I ain't going nowhere. Wish I had a puffy, fluffy, cozy coat. Well, you can find puffy, fluffy, cozy coats pretty much everywhere. I mean, I know I have one that I got at Walmart. It's not really that fluffy to where it looks like a like it sticks out. It's more fleece more than anything, but I want to say the jacket of my dreams has to be the North Face jacket Osito jacket. It literally looks like it's furry. It's like it kind of reminds me of my teddy bear. Um, but it just feels really comfortable. One time someone was wearing it and I'm like, "Can I just feel that fabric?" And they were like, "Yeah, yeah, it's really warm and cozy." And I'm like, "Oh my god, that's so wonderful." So maybe for Christmas, I'll spoil myself with it or I'll be spoiled with it. But I feel like I, I, I'll end up spoiling myself with it because if I pull up my wish list, I think I wrote down that I wanted a jacket like that since like 2012. So I think it's time. But, anyways, it's not a priority. I have way more clothes than I know what to do with, or more clothes than I have days left in my life to wear all of that. So, if anything, I am trying to get rid of clothes. Anyways, we'll see. We'll see what I end up doing. And Garuda says, "Hi. What a shame, Garuda. I'm leaving." But, anyways, you shall catch me next time. All right, guys. I'll see you soon.